Guys, there's a lot of things happening on this earth. There's a lot of evil rising, and you have to look no further than the Democrats to see that, or the Democrats. And because of that, I feel very strongly that things are going to go very quickly, whether good or bad, in the near future. So it's time to be enlightened. It's time to be aware of certain things. You're looking at Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 4, and I'll get into that in just a moment. But everyone is very familiar with the Phoenix Lights. What is that, 79, guys, something like that? But in 2013, something happened to me. And if we ever get to meet in heaven, or wherever we are, either in this body or a spiritual body, you will know that I'm telling you the truth. But in 2013, I had been doing a series of videos on Dulce, New Mexico. I had been doing a series of videos on the Anunnaki, on the Hopi Indians. A tremendous amount of research went into maybe 20 or 30 videos there. Again, several on Dulce, several on Zachariah Sitchin, some on the Sumerian text, and then getting into Hopi Indian legends. So I announced that I was going to go to Dulce, guys. I was going to go take a couple weeks off and go up there and just kind of camp on the mountains and see what I could see, take some pictures and movies and things like that. Well, the first thing that happened was there's friends of mine from that area and the towns around Dulce that sent me warnings. And some of them were even in the comments on the YouTube videos at that time, saying, BP, be very careful. We grew up in this area. Very strange things happen at Dulce. You need to keep your eyes open. You don't know what you're getting into. Things like that, right? And another thing that happened, and at the end of this experience, which I haven't gotten to the middle part about, but the end of it was, as I reported it to different UFO reporting agencies, UFON, Marzulli, other people that were writing books about this, I was ignored. And I think it was because I was so close to the truth, as we've seen before. But anyway, again, I've done these videos, getting ready, headed out to Arizona. Well, at that time, our son was, he had done 7 years in the Air Force. He, at that time, was at Luke Air Force Base in Phoenix. So we decided to go through Phoenix, go north, and then come back through Dulce, New Mexico, on the way back to Mississippi. The strangest thing happened, and I didn't get to video it, but hundreds of people, thousands of people saw what I saw, and it was even reported on the CBS News the very next morning there in Phoenix. And at the end of this video, I'm going to play you that news report. But I saw it the night before the report came out. But let me say this. It was the second basic major sighting of the Phoenix Lights. Now, I go to Phoenix, and it was a sidetrack deal. In other words, I was going to go to Dulce first, and then we decided to go south, come through Phoenix, see our new grandson, go by Luke Air Force Base, get to check all these things out. And our son had an apartment. If you come straight out of the south gate of Luke Air Force Base, I think you go into Goodyear, Arizona, guys. It's kind of the southeast or southwest corner of Phoenix, facing Mexico, and to the right you'd be looking towards California. And this is in the area. It's not very far, guys, from Phoenix International Speedway, the Gila River, all of those areas right there. So we were on that southwestern tip of the greater Phoenix area. Again, Goodyear. I can't remember the name of the road now. It's been a while. You come straight out of that gate of Luke Air Force Base. Well, we got to the apartment just as it was about to get dark. We had been driving for almost 2,000 miles. Took 2.5 days. Pretty tired, wasn't even thinking about unloading any camera gear or anything like that. Just getting out, saying hello, coming inside, checking out our grandkid, and saying hello to everybody. Went outside on the balcony just to get some fresh air. It was beautiful spring weather there. And 16 flying objects came over our head at about 100 feet. At that distance, they looked like they were about 100 feet wide, round, glowing orbs. Solid structure, not anything. It was solid. Let me just put it like that. And there were 16. They flew directly over. If you could have threw a rock fast enough to think about what was happening, you probably could have hit one. They came over my son's apartment there. We were on the balcony, and we were looking south towards the Phoenix International Speedway, just over to the left. I think it was the Estrella Mountains just to the south of us there. And so these 16 objects came right over our head, very low, very low. And guys, they were not in a formation. They were diving in and out between the spacecraft, the way a flock of birds or a school of fish will move in and out, almost as if they can sense the motion. It's all very fluid, very beautiful motion, and the movement of these 16 craft would have had to been either an internal gravity balance system or something that could withstand the G-force. But they were probably just, again, estimating maybe 100 foot wide, perfectly cylindrical. I say orange because it was getting dark, and that was the light below them. And it was the size of the objects. And what had happened, and I'm going to play the video at the end of this, just watch the rest of it. And this actually came from CBS News in Phoenix the next morning. But it was a second reporting of the Phoenix Lights, and they came in over Phoenix, and it was showing 4 discs. Remember this, and you'll see it in the video. First, they were in a flying V, as if it was one of the flying V UFOs. And then they started to break that formation. And you see that in the video that was taken, again, from the reports from CBS News. Well, those 4 were the only ones visible over the main city. There were 12 that did not have their lights on at that time, that were the guard on both sides. And imagine, and I've said this before on radio shows and things, but imagine you're at a football game, college football game, and you see the band at halftime, guys. They're doing their formation there on the field and everything, and then when they get through, they kind of all run out one of the exits in the corner of the stadium. So what the news saw, and the people that were filming this in the greater Phoenix area with the lights, were the 4 objects. But as those 4 objects finished their show, they did like the marching band and dove out of the right corner of Phoenix, again southwest over the Estrella Mountains, out of Goodyear. There were 16 at that time, and they flew very low, not high like they were over the center of the city, but the other 12 objects illuminated and moved directly over our head in this fish or bird formation, as if they were diving in and out. Now, another thing amazing about the story is at that time of night, if you've ever been there, there's between the smaller airports, Luke Air Force Base, Skyport, I think it is, and the other airports, there's about 10 airports in the greater Phoenix area. Now, the planes taking off from Luke Air Force Base were coming over from behind us because we were looking south towards New Mexico. But with all the different airports there was air traffic, guys, at different levels. It was beautiful, looking south at sunset over the Estrella Mountains, and airplanes coming in from every angle, from L.A., from God knows where. And all of a sudden, these 16 highly bronze-polished, glowing objects, perfectly round, dove in under all of this air traffic. Now, I'm standing here on the balcony, my son's out there, Air Force, at Luke Air Force Base, and said, what the hell is that? He'd never seen anything like it, neither had I. And until the next morning, and when I immediately at daylight went to CBS News there in Phoenix and saw this report, then that kind of documented it for me. But I didn't need that documentation, guys. I don't need anyone to approve of what I'm telling you because it happened to me. And if we ever meet one day, like I said earlier, you'll know the truth. I won't have to speak it. Now, another reason I'm doing the video is after I got back and I put the video up, some people that I had met had said, BP, what you're describing is the Hopi flying shields from the ancient Hopi legends. And in their legend, they talked about benevolent beings and non-benevolent beings. But they said these flying shields that I saw, that they have seen for centuries, for thousands of years, and they've been seen all over the world, is that, again, benevolent beings. Now, here's the place where it gets stuck in the mud. Let me say it like this. So many people will come on, maybe you're about to do this in the comments, but listen to me before you do it. Many people say all of the UFOs, all of these other beings, all these extraterrestrials are, and I didn't say they were from another planet. I didn't say that. But they all say they're evil spirits. They are fallen angels. They're evil. They're demons. But you're looking at, again, Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 4. He's talking about this UFO coming down, taking him up. So what you're saying is that all of these flying objects are evil demons? Some of them don't belong to God's angels. Remember, there was a battle in heaven. Michael defeated Satan. So you can't say all of these beings are evil. You can't say that, or you go against this very verse. Let me read a little bit of it, and then I'm going to play the video from the day, the first day I was there in Phoenix. But Ezekiel 4 says, as I looked, behold, a stormy wind came out of the north, and a great cloud with brightness around it, and fire flashing forth continually, and in the midst of the fire, as it was gleaming, metal. Now, guys, you're going to have to read the rest of this. But again, before you say, BP, what you're talking about is evil entities, when the Hopi was telling me that they were not, and the Bible tells me that we have two types of beings that can appear on earth, or from wherever they come, whether it's underground as in Dulce or in Revelation, whatever it is. Guys, there are two. If not, Ezekiel was lying. Think about that. But tomorrow night, guys, 7 p.m. Central on Blog Talk Radio, I'll put the link below. I'm going to go into this in a little more detail, and I'm going to take questions. Many of you have had the same experiences as I have. Maybe this one's a little different, but it's 100% true. But what I want to do is, unlike the way MUFON did me, and the way that I was ignored again by some of the people that I mentioned, one of them was doing a book, Mr. Marzulli, and he knew who I was and ignored the story. Why? Because it was beyond their narrative, beyond their comprehension, and 99% of the people that write these UFO stories are writing them from the experiences of other people. Most of them have never seen or experienced a UFO more. And not, especially, guys, let me say this, when you're going into that area to look for them, you put it out on the internet, hundreds of thousands of people know you're going there. Do you think that if someone with higher intelligence, a group of people like that, can't watch TV? You don't think they can keep up with the internet? Do you think possibly some of that technology came from them? They know. If you think Google knows what we're doing, imagine these beings. Go back to Tesla, go back to Germany. But not all of these are evil beings. And if you say that, BP, you're lying, then you go to the Old Testament and you say that that's a lie, because there are benevolent beings that travel in this way. But again, Blog Talk Radio tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central. Don't miss it. I'm going to go into it. Guys, I had a very extensive video on this and one of the ones that were taken down. And something like this, when it happens, you will never forget it. You may never fully understand it in this earth body. But it happened to me. Again, thousands and thousands of people saw the event. We saw it, and as many people did in that same area of Goodyear, they saw it also. But the video following this is, again, the news documentation. I'm pretty sure it was CBS. But guys, there's no way that I would tell you something like this in these times when everything is important, where you understand what we are actually dealing with, because I saw it with my own 2 eyes. I felt it. And let me say something else about it. These 16 craft, they formed together and showed their full force after the 4 that were changing formations, you'll see in the video, did their show. As I did the video, after I did the video about it then, in 2013, I was contacted by people from Denver, Colorado. Remember, I saw these 16 objects come out of Phoenix, head south over the mountains towards New Mexico. 1 hour later, 16 objects were the same ones, or they looked like the same ones, were reported flying in the opposite direction over Denver, Colorado. But, guys, there's a lot of things that we're going to see. Listen to me. In these end times. And the reason I would go back and put myself up for ridicule on a video like this is because it's important that we understand. This is a heads up, guys. Be safe.
The 4 lights were in a rectangular shape and actually went into a triangle.
Coming in a triangular shape now. The triangle is facing east. The point of the triangle, there's a blink there on the other light.
Well, you know, when I first saw it, I was kind of shaking a little bit with the camera because you just don't know what you're looking at. So it's a unique experience. But I hope tomorrow we'll have it identified and we'll laugh about it.
A large red advertising balloon hovers over North Phoenix, the same area where 4 mysterious red lights appeared Monday evening.
It was definitely unique. I'd never seen nothing like it before.
Bob Brown and his roommate took 40 pictures of the red lights, and they weren't alone in capturing the mysterious event.
My wife told me to grab my camera. She was out front.
Scott Cancelosi's video shows the lights slowly moving around each other just around 8 last night. For 15 minutes, residents were amazed as the red lights formed various shapes.
To be honest with you, I still don't believe what I saw last night.
Officials with the FAA, NORAD, and the Air Force say they can't explain what created the red images. Last night's sighting brings back eerie memories of a similar event in 1997 when a mile-wide V-shaped formation of lights hovered over the city. The Air Force identified them as flares used in a training mission, but some residents now think the lights could be a sign of other life forms.
Very exciting. Like I said, my husband and I, we've discussed it before and said I think there's so much out there we don't know about, and I think we would be ignorant to think that there's not life on another planet.
I think maybe it's cold where they live and they're coming here to warm up.